Nigeria successfully without a university education. Tinubu will rule better. Dangiwa. A chieftain of the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) in Kaduna State, Dr. Musa Dangiwa, has slammed those criticizing the party's 2023 candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, over the controversy surrounding his educational qualifications. It will be recalled that the INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, recently said Tinubu did not provide information regarding his primary, secondary, and university education in the form filled by him. Reacting to the development, Dangiwa, who hails from Burning Gwari, local government area of the state, argued that the incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari did not acquire a university education, yet he has been able to rule Nigeria successfully since 2015, when he took over from his predecessor, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. According to him, governing a country like Nigeria is all about intellectual mindedness and ability to do things right. Dangiwa assured that if Tinubu can rule Nigeria successfully if Buhari can rule Nigeria successfully without any flaws, Tinubu will perform better. The same issue was raised when Buhari was campaigning before the 2015 election, but today he's about to complete his second tenure. President Buhari ruled over professors, academia, and highly intellectuals from his cabinet, Dangiwa said. And this is why we have problems. This is why we have problems. Nigeria can be very frustrating. The Supreme Court even ruled in Buhari's case, saying that, a president does not need WAEC to rule a country. And I'm like, wow. The standards for even being a sales representative or a sales girl or even sales whatever is so high. You've literally got to have had experience. Buhari has had military experience, and I guess that was what in 2015 was the selling point, because we just thought, Nigeria does not need all this softness. Nigeria needs a iron hand. Okay, fine. That's what the people want. Okay, fantastic. But it's like, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Again, if you now compare Buhari to somebody like Peter Obi and just look at his CV, who would you employ? I don't even understand. Who would you employ to work for you? Because it's not even a thing of, it's the experience. It's so sad. It's so sad. Because if you look at Peter Obi now, we're talking management at a senior level, being a president, right? So it's now you growing in your management positions and management roles from scratch, from the beginning, from when you're young. These things add up because it is your skills and your experience and the capacity that you have to lead that will prove why you can be a president. And he's been a governor as well. So it's a thing where, of course, when you see someone like Peter Obi, yes, of course. And so for this whole situation, can you blame him for what he said? For somebody who did not have educational qualifications and was able to rule for 8 years. Look, the sense of, I don't know how we should, I don't understand how Nigerians are not scared. We're actually meant to be crying. We're meant to be scared. We're meant to literally be shaking, because if this is the standard that we set for ourselves, we have to do something radical. At this point, it's so bad that unless we actually have a revolution or do something that is so radical, things are not going to change. They really aren't. Because imagine the Supreme Court justifying why WAEC is not even needed for a president to rule a country. And then with INEC as well, I don't understand. This is something when you're filling the form from the prerequisite stage, from the early stages. This is something you're meant to spot and be like, hello, you cannot go to how did he get to the next stage without, I don't understand. Because what? It's so confusing. There's so many roles there's so many jobs in the country that Nigerians are even getting degrees and are not even using their degrees. It speaks to it. If Nigerians aren't even using their degrees and there's so many first-class degrees in the market and our president have a degree, pretty much, when you actually analyze the country, you'd actually see that, to an extent, the people do deserve the kind of government that they have. They deserve it. And the government is a reflection of the people. Because look at us. It is so shameful. It is so shameful. And it's a thing where it's just that we have to do something radical, revolutionary, or else things will not change. And what we look like, just babies, big babies at our big ages. And I think, Nigeria is just a little part, and then look at Africa as a whole. We just need to leave the mindset of being so selfish and thinking so small in our own tribes, in our own regions, in our own countries, and think holistically as Black people and Africans, because this is just such a bad look. We're not the only country that's no. Are you trying to say that Nigeria is the only corrupt country in this world? We carry corruption on our head, and instead of like the corruption, we're not even doing the corruption with class. We're not practicing this corruption with elegance. We're not practicing it with care. We're just so careless about this corruption. It's so bad. Are you trying to say Nigeria is the only diverse country in the world? Nigeria is not the only country that has problems. We need to grow up. We need to radicate. I don't know what we need to do is to change our mindset, because we're just all too selfish. I mean, imagine Governor Autumn even saying that he'd rather die than be a slave to another tribe in Nigeria. I'm like, hello, uncle, your ancestors were colonized for almost 400 years. What are you saying? Grow up, please. It's a reality that we faced ourselves in this. It's literally we faced ourselves. Like, what do you want to do now? Go back to 600 years before, 800 years for how things were? No, we have to keep up with the times of the world. It is extremely childish. And we're not here to talk about our problems. Grow up. Nigeria just needs to grow up at a big age. Grow up. We mismanage our funds. We treated us so bad. What are the national values that we hold? We have such a bad reputation internationally. If we cannot fix ourselves in our own little Nigeria, how can we work with other Africans? And then how can Africa itself be a global standing power? And it's so sad, because if you look at the resources that Africa has, look at the resources that Nigeria has alone, you're like, there is no excuse as to why we're underperforming. There is no excuse. Because there's no excuse, it means we need to grow up. We're not the only country that has gone through. We're not the only country. It is not rocket science. It is not hard. Everyone just has to step out of their own selfish ambition and selfish gain. And it just comes with the changing of the mind. And it's like, you look and I just promise you're like, wow, we have such a long way to go. But it's like, we cannot lose our power. Look at what is happening to the refugees. Where it was in Morocco, where the Spanish officers are mistreating Africans. This is something. Oh my days! Look at how the world reacted to the whole, Russia-Ukraine situation. Look at how Africans are treated like crap in the world, and it's so sad. It's because when you're not a world power, you have no ground or holding in when the world is making decisions. Or Africa as a whole, or even military control or rule. Like, of course they'll treat your people like trash, because we treat ourselves like trash. We don't respect ourselves. How do you expect the world to respect us? Doesn't make sense. So it's a thing where it's like, with such an act where Black people are beaten and used as slaves and just dehumanized, it's a thing where they should be scared. They should be shaking. They should be like, what? We do this to these citizens. They are coming for us. And that is the energy we should have. But what will happen? They know they're going to get away with it. So it's like, on a bigger scale, we just need to think outside of ourselves, because we are really messing up as Africa. We're messing up big time. And it just needs to end, because it's so embarrassing. We need to grow up. We're not the only corrupt country in the world. We're not. At some point, countries are in worse situations than us. And we're in poverty, education, human development index, everything was just bad. So there's no excuse why we should not grow. There's no excuse. We need to grow up. And I think right now, Nigerians and the youth, we're just not going to take no for an answer. And we understand that power lies in our hands. And we are going to make change.